Syracuse, 3 road games to start the season, and the Orange 0-3. Now SU returns home a rainy night at SU Soccer Stadium, and boy is it a doozy for SU as they take on the #1 North Carolina Tar Heels. For the first time in 369 days, Syracuse women's lacrosse is back inside the Carrier Dome. And boy, is it a stiff test today. It's the #2 Orange against the #5 Stony Brook Seawolves. Hi everyone, welcome to Syracuse alongside Jaron May. I'm Corey Spector. Fans are pouring into the Carrier Dome for the first time in over a year as Syracuse men's lacrosse gets set for its 3rd game of the season, a non-conference clash with the Vermont Catamounts. Hi everyone and welcome inside the Newhouse School on the campus of Syracuse University. Alongside Jaron May, I'm Corey Spector. And Jaron, it is so awesome to see 900 student season ticket holders return to the Loud House today. And Georgia Tech led by as many as 13 in the first half. What is John Bolajak doing there? And the Orange have to find their way back into this one. Hey, to make nachos at home, Jaron, what do you need?
You need chips and cheese.
You also need a microwave, and that's what Alan Griffin was in this game. 20 points in the first half. He finished with 26. And Dorrance Field in Chapel Hill showcased the class of collegiate women's lacrosse back on Saturday. It's Gary Gate, it's Jenny Levy, the 2 figureheads of the sport. It's the 2 leading scorers in the ACC, UNC's Jamie Ortega, CUSA's Megan Tyrell. Oh, and by the way, the top 2 teams in the nation aiming to remain impeccable in 2021. Now, Syracuse has faced the #1 team 27 times in history. Their record, though, 2-25. So this would be just the 3rd all-time victory against the #1. Megan Tyrell gets the party started for Syracuse on a twirling shot. She's 12th in the nation in points. Syracuse leads 1-0. Not for long, a couple of minutes later, Scotty Rose Growney in front, and UNC gets back into this one. Syracuse again with Megan Tyrell, goal number 26, but here's when UNC really starts to cook. Taylor Wareheim, Ali Mastrioni, everyone's getting involved for UNC, going on a 9-0 scoring run to end the half. 10-0 overall. Asa Goldstock had no answers for Jamie Ortega. Ridiculous 48 goals in 11 games this season. We've got a snoozer in the Big 12 with Iowa State in Manhattan against Kansas State, but let's make it interesting. The Cyclones are 2-20, 0-17 in Big 12 play. K-State an impressive 7-19. However, the Wildcats have actually played good defense of late. K-State allowing an average of 59 points in its past 4 games. Plus, I get a lethargic Cyclones team playing their 4th game in the past week. I don't care what the under is. Why not toss in $10 on the under 134? Chris Fifes also said that coming into the Carrier Dome is like the seminal moment in his collegiate coaching career, and why not? He's someone who played at the University of Maryland, went to 2 Final Fours there. He coached at VMI on the offensive side and then went to North Carolina, became the defensive coordinator, and now he's in his 5th year as the Vermont head coach. When he was inducted to the Hall of Fame back in May, he said he was embarrassed. Could you imagine him being embarrassed when making the Hall of Fame?
I would take some pride in that, but that's kind of who Coach Desko is. He likes to be a team-first guy, and he's put together a lot of talented rosters.
Well, Syracuse is going to need the tutelage of John Desko for this season and beyond. And the Orange's schedule, let's not sugarcoat it, it's always difficult. But 7 of the final 9 games after today against Vermont, they're all ranked opponents. And by the way, Stony Brook coming up is receiving votes. It's a long and somber trip home for Jim Boeheim and company after the Orange arrived right here at Cameron Indoor Stadium with aspirations of grabbing their first Quad 1 win of the season. Duke smashed those hopes, 85-71 over Syracuse down in Durham. The Syracuse-Georgetown rivalry has seemingly encompassed everything. A larger-than-life 7-foot head coach with a towel draped over his shoulder, body parts flying all over the place, and even an orange thrown at a backboard. But today's iteration saw another strange thing. In Syracuse's 74-69 victory over Georgetown, we had a broken tooth. Yes, Marek Dolezaj chipped his tooth down the stretch and sprinted towards the locker room. But Jim Boeheim said, you're staying in this one. This is a rivalry game. In 2017, the NFL selected Tampa as the host city for Super Bowl 55. Coincidentally, 4 years later, the hometown squad Buccaneers are here to compete for a Lombardi trophy. The Bucs will still use their home locker room as they did throughout the regular season. The one difference, the firing of the cannons from the pirate ship That won't be there, but the Buccaneers players and coaches, they're excited to be here in their home venue. As we gear up for Super Bowl 55 down in Tampa between the Buccaneers and Chiefs, each team will get to their respective hotel by this weekend. In this hotel where the Buccaneers are staying, a 6'6", 265-pound tight end in his 10th season, that's where he is putting his head on the pillow. And in here sleeps a 6'5", 260-pound tight end in his 8th season. I don't think queen-size beds are going to do the trick this week.
Yeah, Gronk's been a tough guard, his whole career. Big body, uses his body well, got great soft hands.
Well, he can run and catch, but he's such a smart football player. He has a lot of savvy. He can figure things out, whether he's singling them, doubling them, or playing zone. He'll make the right blocks at the right time.
Let's start with Buccaneers tight end Rob Gronkowski, the man that's responsible for the 3rd most touchdowns by a tight end ever. Now, both of these players have immense reverence for each other, and Gronkowski sees unlimited potential in his understudy.
I got nothing but major respect for Travis Kelce. He has helped transform the tight end position. He has helped put the tight end position on the map, and also, speaking of contract wise, he has helped the tight end position get paid the way that they deserve to get paid.
Gronkowski's right. Kelce signed a $57 million contract in this offseason. So we move on to the student now in Kelce, and he regards Rob Gronkowski as the most savvy player to ever play the position.
I was talking to him last year before the Super Bowl and mentioned how he has tempo in his routes. It's not always just full speed, blazing speed. He has tempo in his routes, which creates confusion and deception to defenders. And because of how big he is, all he needs is a certain amount of separation for him to be able to go up and get his big paws on the ball.
Now, it's generally expected that the student, Travis Kelce, will put on a better performance in the Super Bowl than Rob Gronkowski. Kelce with 21 receptions in the postseason, Gronkowski with just 2. But don't be surprised if the savvy veteran, Rob Gronkowski, earns his 4th Super Bowl and puts on a masterful performance down in Tampa. 11:47 remaining second half here inside Greensboro Coliseum. The number 8 seed Syracuse has a 16-point lead, 65-49 over the number 9 seed NC State Wolfpack. Alongside Will Scott, I'm Corey Spector. First of 4 games today inside Greensboro Coliseum. We've got the 13 seed Miami facing the number 5 seed Clemson at 2:30. The 10 seed Duke against the number 7 seed Louisville, and Notre Dame against UNC, the 6 seed against the 11. You catch that buzzer beater last night by Trey Wirtz against Wake Forest?
He hit that with confidence. He knew that shot was going in the second he let it go, kind of like John Gillen against Duke. Had that same kind of swag, that same kind of confidence. That's March for you. We're going to have a lot more moments like that.
Can I say swaggy? Is that allowed?
Yeah, I think so. Okay. We'll allow it.
All right. I'm trying to be cool. I'm trying to be hip.
Yeah.
Syracuse to inbound out of the break as NC State applies a soft 1-2-2 full court press. Buddy Boeheim receives and moves over the midcourt line on a lofting pass for Joe Girard. Syracuse moves left to right as Braxton Beverly defends Joe Girard 40 feet from the basket. Syracuse on top by 16 with 11.5 to go in the second. Alan Griffin isolated straight up top. Feeds Boeheim on the left elbow. Now gives for Girard. Orange reset with 10 on the timer. Dolajai near wing. Hands off for a cutting Boeheim. Looks around, stops his dribble. The shot clock's at 3. Griffin with 2. Steps back. Did he get it off in time? The officials say no. He bricked it anyway. And a shot clock violation against Syracuse right out of the timeout. That's not what was diagnosed by Jim Boeheim.
No, second shot clock violation of this game for Syracuse, too. Griffin is a guy that we've seen hit a lot of contested threes. He should have just tried to get a shot off in time.
Coming off a great performance against Clemson last Wednesday. 22 points on 6 of 10. Sebron straight up top, facilitates near side for Cam Hayes, and back to Sebron. Syracuse settles into the 2-3. Hayes, the freshman, pivots with the basketball. Feeds it right side for Sebron. Right back for Hayes with a lefty dribble. Goes around the bait screen. Feeds underneath, and it's blocked inside, but a foul. DJ Funderburg with the attempt, and Quincy Guerrier says, how? And unfortunately for the Orange, that's number 4 for Quincy. And the 7th team foul against Syracuse, so NC State to the line for the rest of the half with 10:52 to go.
Let's take a look at this. So we're watching the replay on our monitor. That's a tough call. That is a tough call against Quincy.
I'll tell you what, if there's any call to make there, Will, I think it's on Alan Griffin.
Right.
Because he contacted the right wrist of DJ Funderburk, but the officials instead get the body contact of Quincy Guerrier. He goes to the bench. Robert Braswell inserted for Jim Boeheim. And DJ Funderburk hits on his first free throw. Syracuse 65, NC State 50. Still a comfortable 15-point lead for the Orange with 10:51 to go in the second half.
I'm a little bit surprised Braswell is coming in instead of Edwards, considering what we saw from Edwards in the first half.
Yeah, Funderburk misses his free throw. 14 minutes for Jesse Edwards in the opening half. He's yet to see the court here in the second. Again, the full court press by NC State. A lob ahead for Boeheim. Ill-advised from Girard. And a turnover for Syracuse. Funderburk with the interception. Hayes hopscotching left elbow jump shot. Too short, and Alan Griffin grabs the rebound for Syracuse. Girard bounces around his defender and Hayes into the front court. Boeheim fakes the three. He's got 24 points and bounces it straight up top for Dolezaj. Give and go for Boeheim. Shot clock still at 18 seconds as Alan Griffin turbos down the left alley. Kick out Girard. Fakes the three. Steps inside. Now finds Griffin. He dribbles with his left and then gives it up top for Boeheim. Nice recovery defense by NC State. Shot clock at 5. Griffin isolated. Top of the arc. Crossing over. Down the right alley. Finds Braswell in the corner. Hoisted up with one on the timer. Got it! Robert Braswell's the shot clock expires. As we cross over the midway point here in the second half, Syracuse's lead has grown to 18. Bobby Braz off the bench, his first three of the game. Hayes straight away. Dishes near side for Sebron as NC State attacks the basket to our left. Bates at the free throw line, sizes up Dolezaj. Almost traveled, locates a man underneath. It's Funderburk, and he's hit on the arm by Robert Braswell.
Never questioned Jim Boeheim. I asked, why is Jesse Edwards not coming in? Why is Robert Braswell coming in? Well, that's why he's a Hall of Famer, and I'm not. Robert Braswell knocking it down. He didn't even have time to really position himself well for a shot. Literally just had to fling it up with 1 second left on the shot clock, and it goes in.
Braswell averaging fewer than 3 points a game, 9 minutes of contest. He's played a lot down the stretch for Syracuse. 0 of 12 from three-point range to start the year. But since then, to close out the regular season, 10 of 29 from distance. Funderburk makes his first free throw. He's at the line for another and sinks that one as well. Syracuse 68, NC State 52. 9:35 to go in the second round of the ACC tournament here from the Greensboro Coliseum. Braxton Beverly, the senior from Hazard, Kentucky, locked up against Joe Girard, who moves from left to right for Syracuse. Dolezaj sets the screen. Girard, a wraparound pass, and Dolezaj with a right-handed flush. They leave Dolezaj open inside. Syracuse back on top by 18 as the orange bench raises the roof.
That was with authority. Too easy for Dolezaj.
9 minutes to go. Beverly kick left wing. Moore sets up the three. He nails it. Shaq Moore, he's a 35% three-point shooter. And NC State's down by 15 with 8:55 to play in the second half. Dolezaj at the controls of the Syracuse offense, moving left to right. Girard down the right alley, bodies up his defender. Righty layup, no. Braswell grabs the offensive rebound, puts it back in. It spirals in, and a foul. Oh, Robert Braswell getting it done from the perimeter and in the interior as well. And he's got a chance for three with 8:45 to play in the second half. Syracuse 72, NC State 55. Since Joe Spallina has taken over as the Stony Brook head coach, the Seawolves have only lost 2 games in conference play. One in 2012, one in 2014, both of which were by one singular goal.
Yeah, that's impressive. And when you think about it, they're also on a 42-game winning streak. I'll hear your stat, and I'll
raise you one.
There you go. 42 straight wins inside the conference. That is fantastic. Now, the America East is not like the ACC. It's not the same caliber competition, but they still have solid teams. Albany is in there. You have UMass Lowell. You have quite a few teams that can compete and that can sometimes get in the NCAA tournament, and Stony Brook is just a monster.
Good job.
Tyrell with a lofted pass, and Sam Swart carpet burns it in. Syracuse firing on all cylinders offensively, 7-2 Cuse.
It's the dodge that sets up the pass again. Megan Tyrell starts to dodge, which means two players come toward her. That's a 2-on-1. That means that there's going to be an open player. She finds Swart cutting to the cage. And again, one-on-one opportunity. Sam Swart bounces it through the 5-hole. Swart has been fantastic with finishing. But Corey, the MVP of this game is just the passes from Syracuse.
An offensive juggernaut right now for the Orange. And keep in mind, Emily Harris-Chuck, second in Division I in goals last season. 39 of them, 209 career goals. She's out today with a lower body injury she sustained in practice last night. We saw her on crutches pregame. It's not a sight that Gary Gate and company want to see, but yet it's still a 7-2 lead for the Orange against the number 5 team in the country.
Corey, you got to think how much momentum and how much energy does the Syracuse team have because Harris-Chuck isn't in the game. And it sounds contradictory, but it's kind of one of those situations where you think, all right, our leader's not in the game. We got to win this for her. She obviously wants to be in there as much as anyone else on the field. She is the leader. She wants to get back at this Seawolves team from a loss a year ago. It's a top 5 matchup. This is a resume builder. She has to sit on the sideline. So if you're one of her teammates, you say, hey, we got this. You pat her on the back and say, we'll do this for you.
Swart locates an open Tyrell, and she is hammered by Julia Markey. And Megan Tyrell with a free position opportunity to potentially open up the Orange lead to 6.
Again, it's that same thing. If you can get the ball inside that middle of the defense, good things are going to happen. You're either going to have an open shot, you're going to suck in the defense and you can kick it out to a teammate, or right there you draw a foul. Now you have a woman up opportunity and you have a free position shot.
Tyrell with a goal already today. 19 last season and 5 points in that opener against Loyola. It's also a woman up opportunity for Syracuse as Tyrell resets, finds Cockrell, and her shot flails too high. Carney on the backup for Syracuse.
Cockrell kind of just lost the handle there. Had a pretty good look at it. Just couldn't get that stick pointed down enough to be able to get it inside the net, or at least on goal.
That pass handcuffs Sierra Cockrell, but she easily glides after it. And Syracuse sets up on this 7-on-6 opportunity. Here's Swart, beelines towards the net. Lefty sidewinder goes home. There is nothing that Stony Brook can do right now to thwart Syracuse's attack.
There's nothing Sam Swart can't do. My goodness. Have a day. This is just easy stick work. The slide isn't there in time. You see Claire Levy trying to get there and pick up Sam Swart before she got to the inside. She couldn't. Swart kind of used her speed to squeeze between the two defenders. And that's just a pinpoint shot from Sam Swart. 7 goals in 2 games from a player that was used to be known as a distributor and a defensive midi, now taking over on the offensive side. You've seen a major change from Sam Swart. She has been unbelievable so far this season.
I know it's cliche, but I don't know what Gary Gates said in that locker room before the game. Because again, this is the number 5 team in the country we're talking about. A Stony Brook team. We mentioned that North Carolina game to open up the year for Stony Brook. The Seawolves were very competitive in that game, and at one point were down 9-7. And a couple of opportunities, one rang off the post. And then North Carolina used its all-star squad to eventually win 14-7. But Stony Brook with such talented players on its roster. And if you go up and down their roster, basically you'll notice everyone's from Long Island. All you got to do, if you're Stony Brook, is pull up an Adirondack chair in Long Island and say, all right, recruits,
come to Stony Brook.